To the finale of F1 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Abu Dhabi for the last ever race of the My Team series in F1 24. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live the end of last week from Qatar, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. But after 3 seasons, ultimately, of course, we already come into this final race with both World Championships wrapped up. And ultimately, I don't think there's really anything else I want to do with this My Team Career Mode inside F1 24. So yeah, this will be the last ever race from this series. I have got one other thing still, one of the series that I mentioned before that I want to do inside this game, which of course is our Salvaging Sauber Career Mode. We're going to try and see how far we can get Sauber up the grid, you know, before F1 25 releases. But yeah, this series, I just want to say before we get into it, of course, the first ever kind of full-blown F1 series that I've done on this channel, outside of kind of some of the live stream stuff. So a massive thank you to everybody that has stuck around and enjoyed it as well. Of course, you know, through the early days of F1 24, it was quite good fun, and then obviously, you know, other stuff got in the way, so we haven't been able to do as much with this championship as I wanted to. But yeah, I want to go out with a bang here in Abu Dhabi. We're going to do exactly the same as we did in Qatar last weekend and attempt a last to first challenge. Of course, get yourself subscribed if you're new. Like I said, brand new series will probably arrive this weekend as well. And obviously, we're trying to hit 6k subs on the channel as well right now. But yeah, for one final time then, we're going to take the Orange Beast out onto the circuit. And yeah, hopefully, we can walk away with another win.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. We go into battle once more then as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles, 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. And we expect average lap speeds of around 123 miles per hour. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, Joe, Albon, Sainz, Gasly, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Hamilton, Bottas, Sargent, Teo Porcher, Ricciardo, Hauger, Mr. Monaco, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Well, we welcome you to the broadcast. It's going to be some race today. First of all, introductions. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this one, Anthony Davidson. Well, it's the last race of the season, but there's still plenty to prove out there. How important is getting the right mentality for this season closer?
Yeah, a lot of races to cover, but it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix. End on a high and carry that energy into next season.
Well, here we are then, one final time down on the grid. P21, because even if you don't qualify for some reason, I take grid penalties and end up behind you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't done any practice or anything for this final race, so we're going to be learning on the job here in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, can we try and get back towards the front of the order before the evening is done and dusted here in Abu Dhabi? 5 red lights down on the grid, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go then. You can see Yuki Tsunoda getting off to a particularly good getaway down in towards turn 1, but not really many avenues to really try and make moves through those first couple of corners. We will immediately try and have a look back around the outside of the V-car through turn 2 and in towards turn 3. A little bit of a wobble on the exit there as George Russell almost broke the 1 minute 20 barrier in qualifying here. The cars have got so quick inside this series. You know, it has been ridiculous just seeing how fast they've become. Especially it feels like inside this championship as well. Although admittedly I haven't raced at Abu Dhabi in recent times in the driver career mode either. Obviously, we've ended up this season, of course, season finale of the driver career mode on Friday in Las Vegas. I've already recorded the race. I know what happens. Let me just tell you, it's going to be one worth watching. Is all I'm going to say right now to avoid too many spoilers. As Yuki Tsunoda there did get back past me down between the two back straights. Couldn't quite find the avenue around the outside of him down at the hairpin. So we haven't really gained anything on lap 1. We will, though, get back down the inside in towards the final complex of corners. Whoa, hello! Tsunoda, you've got to give me some room on the outside. I thought we, kind of given him enough on the inside there. As Russell already stretching into a little bit of a lead lap 1. But yeah, we have gained nothing at all. Hello. Okay, we're accidentally going down the inside of Teo Porcher. I apologise there, sir. But through then and up into P20. Of course, we've already got DRS enabled here, so we need to see how good the straight line speed is in the car. Looks like Logan Sargent a little bit better in a straight line. So that Williams might be difficult to navigate. We're already just starting to see a few gaps opening up early on then in the night, but I'm sure Logan Sargent will be trying to look for a move on Dennis Hauger. Might have to watch his mirrors though, as we're going to try and go one way against the Sauber man. Hauger there gets actually later on the brakes than Logan Sargent. Tiny bit of wheel banging. We're still 3 wide though on the exit of the corner. Sargent decides it's not worth the fight early on. And hopefully now we're going to be able to get the DRS and try and get around Hauger anyway. To the inside we'll try and go. Catch him by surprise down the end of the back straight. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton all the way down in P17. Remember early on, last season I think it was, Hamilton actually had a championship threat going on. Like, we're starting to get a little bit worried that we were getting a bit stuck in no man's land and only on about lap 4 and in P18, which is not exactly ideal. But we have now closed up to the back of this next group of cars there as Ricciardo will make a bit of a mistake down at the hairpin. That will invite both Hamilton and myself by. Ricciardo losing 8 World Championships worth of places there down at the hairpin. But can we now get a run on Lewis Hamilton? To the inside will go. Big diving manoeuvre there into the chicane. And we'll up into P16 then. So we are making steady progress early on. I think, it could be a question of how far will the tyres go. Because I could try the alternate strategy. The other big thing, of course, is that Abu Dhabi, at least inside the F1 game, you don't tend to get many safety cars here. If we try and move past then Nico Hülkenberg in his Haas car. Of course, obviously left the Haas team in our driver career mode, has stuck by them. Ultimately, we haven't had many driver moves inside this series. Oh, look at that Hülkenberg! Got to the inside of Esteban Ocon there. Very good awareness by the Frenchman to not kind of turn into an apex, because Hülkenberg was nowhere near him on the way into the corner there. But yeah, the Frenchman definitely struggling on the exit of the corner, as somehow we were just about squeeze between Hülkenberg and the Alpine there, just trying to fight back with me on the exit of the corner. But look at that Bottas. I think he's probably going to be my teammate in our salvaging Sauber career mode up next. But Sauber, this P13 is pretty good going for them. We claim the DRS off of the Sauber, but we will still get to the inside down to the hairpin. I guess the good thing is with this series is Sauber have been a little bit closer, it feels like, on more often. It feels like in the driver career mode, often they can completely fall away from every other competitor season after season. But yeah, I'm genuinely intrigued to know about the mechanics as well. Obviously, with that nerf that they got early on inside F1 24 as well, about how that kind of affects the late game performance of the car as well. As well, Alex Albon just wanted to play a little bit defensive from me. He can defend all he likes. We'll be able to get to the outside of him, get the power down on the exit of the corner, and we should be through. And we are up into 12th place. The only problem we've got early on, this seems to be one of the races where the AI tend to spread out a little bit more. Getting past cars once you're near them is not actually the difficult bit. Not sure what Gasly is attempting to do there. It's actually getting to the next train of cars afterwards, as we made a hash of the chicane as well. Probably won't be able to get the power down against these two just in front of me on the exit there. Gasly again, though. We'll try and have a look against Lance Stroll. Will he be able to get there? He's going to have a look to the inside. Stroll will defend it right at the last moment. kind of forcing Pierre to back out, and maybe now we can get a run on the exit of the corner, then down in towards the final of that triple right-hander. Down the inside will go. Bit of an audacious one, but, you know, as I said in Qatar, we've got nothing to lose at this point of the season. We may as well go for it. Well, Lance Stroll to Red Bull easily takes the award for most cursed driver move I've seen inside this game. He's just trying to defend that last points-paying position, somewhere that he hasn't genuinely been in much this season. We'll go around the outside, though, again, comfortably later on the brakes in the Red Bull.
Nice overtake.
I mean, I'd love to know in what world, what would it take for Lance Stroll to have to join Red Bull IRL? The only possible outcome is that Stroll has become a huge investor, which Red Bull is a privately owned company, so I don't quite get how that could happen. There we go, Charles Leclerc to the outside of Zhou Guanyu down at the hairpin. I wouldn't normally expect to see Zhou battling with the Ferraris, but yeah, that move for him has worked fairly nicely inside this game. He certainly hasn't been as good as Fernando Alonso, but then again, are any of us really surprised by that? But yeah, this little battle going on, though, has allowed Carlos Sainz in the second Ferrari just to break free a little bit. I'm just happy that we're not, you know, we keep getting the DRS off the next car in front. That is the critical bit for us right now. But we're getting close to the pit stop window then in this Grand Prix. Just see how much the AI is struggling for grip. This car very, very good at like adverse camber and things like that, where I think the traction is pretty good. It does give you a fair amount of confidence in the car as well underneath you. So there we go, Team 1 is in at the end of this lap. Sergio Perez still battling it out for the podium places. Would be nice to see him bag one last win inside this game if I can't do it today. But yeah, Russell, at least in the first half here, seems to have this one on lock. Are we going to see Leclerc think about a move on Zhou? No, we won't. We will run a little bit deep into the hairpin, but hopefully we'll get the power down off of the exit there. And if Leclerc's going to get a run on him, so hopefully will I. Zhou Guanyu will swing defensive. We will enjoy the double slipstream then. 3 wide as we make our way down. Oh, Leclerc tries to cover me off on the exit as well. Sorry, the entrance to the corner. Will just about stay in front of us for the moment. We are then going to again get the DRS off the corner, again have a look to the inside, and now we should be able to move up then into P8 of this GP.
Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed.
Now I'm looking at that tyre where I don't think a set soft compound will work very well, especially when you look at the temperatures, but hopefully we're going to be able to bring that gap down a little bit more to Carlos Sainz as we make our way towards the pit lane here. At the end of lap 13, Russell opts to stay out for another one. I think Alonso might be in, though. Obviously, Perez will have to stay out another lap. So, yeah, one of the McLarens as well. Make sure we don't get done for speeding on the way in there. But, yeah, Sainz opting to stay out as well. So, we do block Verstappen on pit lane exit. So does Leclerc behind me. So, we should hopefully be a bit closer to the Dutchman when we make our way out of the pit stops.
Right, let's go.
There we go.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Well, the team weren't always fantastic with the pit stops this season, but that one's been pretty good. Yeah, we will come out then. The gap to Verstappen. We took a good second and a half out of him. Everybody else then into the pit lane. I know I bang on about it, but it would be nice if we got some more diversity in the pit stops in F1 25. As yeah, I think everybody at the box one lap earlier, the undercut, has worked really, really nicely actually in this race. We've even got the jump. Yeah, look at that, we've got the jump on Carlos Sainz then. So Alonso now closer to Russell. Looks like Perez locked into battle with Oscar Piastri in P3. A podium is definitely doable today. Maybe if the top two battle, we could get towards the front. Well, looking on the mini-map, Russell and Alonso seem to be just engaging in a few more battles here. Everybody else is pretty evenly spread out. We all seem to be just over a second away from the car in front. I, though, just getting a bit closer to Verstappen there. We were right on the cusp of the DRS that time round. But again, we won't quite get it. Like I said, it is completely dependent on what Russell and Alonso do at the front of the order will dictate whether anybody else gets a look in at that victory. Well, gaining in then on Max Verstappen down this back straight. Oh, he's going to just move out defensive right at the last moment there in kind of typical Max Verstappen fashion. I'd rather wait for the second straight anyway to make the move happen, to give him less of a chance to kind of fight back against it off the corner. I mean, look at that, really trying to squeeze us, but we will hang firm, return it in kind as well on the exit of the corner. I mean, what is he doing? Max Verstappen there refuses to give up on it. On the mark, that was a fantastic move there, and well, two drivers that aren't willing to budge. It is always going to end that way, but we are through and up into P6 then. Well, I think Verstappen has avoided front wing damage somehow. Well, I wonder if for Max Verstappen it was a little bit of a I can't win, so neither shall you kind of situation in that battle a few laps ago, but we have finally rocked up to the back then of Sergio Perez and Lando Norris here, and their battle has been getting just a little bit more aggressive over these last couple of laps as well. I've been doing these My Team career modes since they debuted back on F1 2020, and I unironically think that Perez has been one of the best teammates I've ever had. He's just been so unlucky. Every time it's felt like he's had an opportunity to win a Grand Prix, something seems to have gone away from him. Now, luckily, he has obviously bagged a couple of victories, as Norris again will try and swing defensive from him down at a chicane. Can we get a run on the pair of them then? Off the exit of the corner, could we see three orange cars, three wide? Thought about having a look to the outside there. We will get past one. We will hopefully get past the other as well. And up into P4 then of the GP. 6 seconds though to Oscar Piastri at the road. This might be all we can recover to tonight. Well, 2 laps to go then here from Abu Dhabi, and looking at the front of the order, I just don't think Oscar Piastri or Fernando Alonso has got enough to compete with George Russell. The Mercedes man seems to have been in control of this race right the way through the afternoon. Alonso got a bit of a look in. Russell was able to hold him up. I mean, Oscar Piastri might be able to cause the upset of the night here right towards the end of the GP. But yeah, our battle is still with Sergio Perez, Norris and Max Verstappen right behind us here, as here comes Perez once again to the outside and the end of the back straight. Oh, I thought about trying to stay there alongside him. Actually, a tiny bit of front wing contact, as all these tyres, they are on the way out the door as well, I think it's safe to say. As we'll try and use plenty of battery down the next straight to bring the gap back closer to Sergio Perez once again, as Norris, not quite the confidence on the inside of us, in towards that hairpin. But yeah, like I said in the intro, this has been one of the weirdest seasons I've ever had on an F1 game. Probably the worst one I've ever had to win a World Championship, or the worst way to win a World Championship. So much bad luck and reliability issues towards the end of the year. Kind of meant, you know, we've limped over the line as best as we can, but ultimately, every driver, it seems to have been the storyline I've had so much in F1 24, that it seems to be the driver that makes the least errors ends up winning the World Championship. We've seen so many teams this season that one weekend have had the pace, next weekend just have them. And ultimately, yeah, we've just had, you know, the most consistent car inside this game. That being said as well, obviously Perez doing a really good job, you know, where he can as well, to pick up the decent points finishes, to pick up the good results towards the end of the year, of course, between all the reliability issues. You know, it hasn't just been me. Sergio definitely has suffered just as much. As to the outside of our teammate, we'll have a look once again then in towards the chicane there. Is there anyone else I'd rather battle on the final lap of this series? I don't think there is, as hopefully we'll be able to get the run to the outside of Checo Perez once again there. Norris, I think, believe that he's going to try and look around the outside of our teammate as well. So disappointment for Sergio on the last lap. He's not going to lose one, he's going to lose 2 places, as Lando Norris tries to gain 2 on the other side of that. George Russell, though, through the final few corners, no one has been able to touch him tonight. Russell will come through to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, finish off the year in style for Mercedes. Oscar Piastri second, Alonso P3, but from the back of the grid it is P4. And there we go, my team is done.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
A superb drive from the talented George Russell, who takes the checkered flag.
Well, a great victory today for the final race of the season, and you take that energy with you through the end of the year, through the winter break, and it's important because your team lives off of that. You want them to deliver you the best possible car for the start of next season's campaign.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Well, there we are then. Russell finishes out the year in style, just a second clear of Oscar Piastri. But yeah, no one could really challenge the Mercedes man. Whenever anyone got past him, just next time around he would immediately fly back by them. Piastri second ahead of Alonso. We come through for P4 in the end ahead of Norris and Perez there, with Verstappen in at 7th. Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon will round out our top 10 there, just pipping Lance Stroll to the checkered flag for the final point available from this season. Stroll ahead of Gasly, Zhou Guanyu disappointing down in P13. They're ahead of Ocon and Hamilton, who just make no progress throughout the race. Hulkenberg, both V-Carbs, Bottas, Sargent, Pourchaire and Dennis Hauger will finish the last race of the season in last position there. What does that do to our championship? Well, it means we keep an 82-point buffer over Leclerc on the end of the year. Alonso could have got back past him by the end of the campaign, but just not quite enough. And had I known or remembered that Perez and Russell were so close in the championship, maybe I would have given our teammate the place back, because it would have kept him in P4 overall there. Norris ahead of Hamilton, Sainz ahead of Verstappen. Yuki Tsunoda, after such a great start to the year, only comes through for P10, just ahead of Oscar Piastri and Zhou Guanyu there, who all managed to get over 100 points on the board. Ricciardo ahead of Albon, Stroll in 15th place in that Red Bull, ahead of Gasly there, and Ocon got 1 point all year. Still beats out, though, both Saubers, both Haas, and Logan Sargent. Constructors-wise, a 158-point lead in the end. Ferrari will hang on for P2. Mercedes hang on to P3 ahead of Aston Martin. McLaren in 5th ahead of V-Carb and Red Bull. Williams 10 points clear of Alpine, with Sauber and Haas both failing to score throughout this season. But there we are then. A massive thank you to everybody for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. Like I said, we're going to kick off our Salvaging Sauber career mode over the weekend as well. Hopefully that'll be good fun to finish off F1 24. I've got a couple of fun twists that are hopefully going to make that series interesting. But yeah, we'll be back then very soon with more F1 24 content.